Welcome back, Short Kings. It's that time of the month again. We got some new games on PS Plus Extra, which also means that we're going to be losing some games on PS Plus Extra. If you want to see the menu yourself, go to PlayStation Plus, down to Collections, and scroll all the way down to Last Chance to Play. Wait, it's only 4 games? Yeah, it's really 4 games. What the heck? Some rare bit of good news for PlayStation Plus. Wow. Alright, so the Last Chance to Play games for October 2025 are Battlefield 1, Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed Ecto Edition, Tour de France 2023, and The Last Clockwinder for PlayStation Plus Premium. This is a VR game, and we've been losing many VR games recently. If you enjoyed a video getting to the point and giving you all the information in the beginning of the video, drop a like for the algo. Stick around to find out what the games are all about, what the ratings are, and how long is the runtime. I guess this is going to be a short video. 3 of these games were mentioned in the prediction video that came out a few weeks ago. The only one not predicted is Battlefield 1, but I've got some good news. If you were one of the early adopters of the PlayStation 5 and you were lucky enough to download the PlayStation Plus Collection, this game was included. The PlayStation Plus Collection was a list of 20 amazing free games that were available to download to anyone who owned a PlayStation 5. Since the PS5 didn't have many games when it came out, these games were thrown in for free to sweeten the pot. So unless you missed that download deadline, this game, Battlefield 1, should be in your library already. This game came to PS Plus Extra in April of 2025, so this is a 6-month contract. Ooh, this game was not predicted in our prediction video for October. So let's talk about it. Battlefield 1 was one of the games I was really looking forward to as soon as I got a PS5. I realize it's a PS4 game, but the PS Collection really made me buy a PS5. This is a game I really wanted to play, but I was not going to pay money for. So I was more than happy to get it along with 19 other games. Obviously, it's a first-person shooter, and it was released all the way in 2016, but it's a major departure for the franchise. Battlefield and Call of Duty have often been compared, but the biggest difference is the scale and pacing. While Call of Duty is known for its fast-paced run-and-gun style of gameplay, Battlefield, on the other hand, is all about large-scale, team-based warfare on sprawling maps with a focus on vehicles and environmental destruction. Battlefield 3 was my favorite game to play in this genre. So after the disappointment of Battlefield 4, I was really excited for this one, especially the simpler weapons from 100 years ago. So I played it in 2021 for a few hours, but I thought, this is a PS Collections game, I'm gonna have it forever. Let's move on to PS Plus Extra games, because I have all the time in the world to play this one. What I didn't realize until recently is this game has a great campaign, a great single-player narrative experience. When Battlefield 5 came to PlayStation Plus as a monthly game, I loved the little story mode. It was so memorable. I don't even care if it was based on true stories or not. That short skiing mission was one of the most immersive skiing experience I've experienced in a video game, and that includes skiing games themselves. So what I'm trying to say is if you play this game and you don't care about competitive multiplayer, this game technically qualifies as a short game, so I can officially talk about it. Yay! The single-player component of Battlefield 1 is known as War Stories. It's sort of an anthology, self-contained narratives that follow different characters in various theaters of World War I. This is a deliberate choice, just like Battlefield 4. So instead of one long narrative, it's a more personal and diverse look at this conflict. We got a British tank driver, we got a British flying ace focusing on intense dogfights, we've got this Italian mountain tank that's fully armored, we've got this Australian badass who's basically Crocodile Dundee with a gun, and we even see Lawrence of Arabia and play as a ninja sort of character. You can play all these stories with the familiarity of the controls of Battlefield gunplay. Even if you're not a fan of competitive online multiplayer games, especially first-person shooters like this, I'm still gonna recommend it because the stories are that good. You can run and gun like a madman and just plow through the duration of this game, or you can take your time and be more sneaky and take one enemy out at a time. Battlefield 1 got a score of 88 with a user score of 7.5. As far as the runtime goes, you can beat the main story in as little as 6.5 hours, up to 10 hours if you want to get all the collectibles. For a completionist run, this is going to include multiplayer, so I would personally stay away from this, but it takes 25 hours. Alright, and the next game on the list is called Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed. This is a 4v1 asymmetrical multiplayer game where a team of 4 Ghostbusters hunt down an attempt to capture a single player-controlled ghost. The game's hub is the iconic firehouse from the movies, and it features the likeness and voice of Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. The core gameplay loop revolves around the 2 distinct roles, ghostbusting and ghosts. As the Ghostbuster, your job is to track down and capture the ghost. You start by using your PKE meter to scan the environment. The meter reacts to paranormal activity, guiding you towards haunted objects, civilians, and most importantly, the ghost. Once you've located the ghost, the goal is to tether it with your Proton Pack's particle thrower. Tethering a ghost is a team effort as it becomes more difficult to contain it as it struggles. Once it's stunned, the Ghostbusters must quickly throw out a ghost trap to capture it. As the ghost, your goal is to haunt the entire map. You can do this by flying around and scaring NPCs, which fills your haunt meter, or you can also possess objects, from chairs to fire extinguishers, in order to hide from the Ghostbusters. This is basically like prop hunt. The ghosts have different abilities, such as summoning minions, sliming players to slow them down, and using an ultimate ability to cause chaos. The more you haunt a location, the closer you get to winning. If you reach 100% haunt and survive for a short period of time, you win the match as the ghost. The genre is best described as the asymmetrical horror action game, but with a comedic tone instead of the more serious ones like in Dead by Daylight or Friday the 13th. Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed has a much lighter and more accessible feel. As far as Metacritic scores, it had a score of 68 with a user score of 7.7, so players didn't think it was as bad as critics did. As far as the runtime goes, this is a asymmetrical multiplayer game, so you could play it forever. But How Long to Beat has the solo mode as 8 hours, so take that with a grain of sand. And the last game on Extra Tier is Tour de France 2023. This is a sports sim game that aims to deliver an authentic and strategic experience of professional cycling. The core gameplay loop is all about managing your cyclist's energy and position within the peloton. This is the main group of riders in order to win stages. You don't just mash buttons to go fast. You have to constantly monitor your rider's stamina, which is represented by 2 energy bars. 1 bar is for short, intense bursts of effort, while the other represents your long-term energy reserves for the entire stage. The game rewards strategic thinking, as you must decide when to push hard, when to conserve energy, and when to use gels or bottles to recover. You can draft behind other riders to save energy, and you're constantly making micro adjustments to your positions to stay in the most optimal spot. The game is not for everyone, it's for dedicated cycling fans who want a deep strategic simulation of the sport, rather than a fast-paced arcadey type racer. It favors realism over action, which could be a good or a very bad thing. Tour de France 2023 got a score of 73 with a whopping user score of 3.5. Ouch. How Long to Beat has it as 9 hours again. And then the last game, which we normally don't talk about because it's for premium users, is the Last Clockwinder. This is a virtual reality puzzle game that blends automation and creative problem solving. The game has a cozy, peaceful atmosphere and a touching story that unfolds through audio recordings left by the previous Clockwinder. The core gameplay loop is a clever twist on automation games. You use a special pair of gloves to record your movements and actions in short looping intervals. Once you've recorded a sequence of actions, like picking a fruit, throwing it into a specific spot, or pulling a lever, the game creates a clone or like a recording of you that endlessly repeats those specific actions. Your goal is to coordinate these clones to create intricate, synchronized contraptions and assembly lines to harvest resources and complete puzzles. It's very satisfying to watch your self-made Rube Goldberg machine of clones work in perfect repetitive harmony. The Last Clockwinder has a favorable score of 83 with a user score of 7.3. It's a pretty short game. You can get through the main story at 5 hours, or you could get the platinum at just under 10 hours. I know we normally don't cover premium games, but this is a really short video. I mean, only 4 games on the last chance to play? Let's call that a win. It's finally good to hear some good news for PS Plus Extra. So what are you going to play? Are you going to ignore all these, or are you playing something else instead? I mean, it is spooky month, so are you going to play a scary game? As far as my prediction video goes, I predicted a lot of games that wouldn't leave. I was not expecting such a short list, but I did say for sure we were going to lose the Last Clockwinder because it is a VR game, and we've been losing so many VR games on PlayStation Plus Premium. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this special short episode. If you're a member of the channel, download the spreadsheet and I will update all the games that are leaving and all the games that have just arrived. That way you can keep track of which ones are the best games and which ones are the shortest games. And anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time, be a friend and I'll see you again.